essential chords that you're going to need all the time. And so the one chord was C. And I'm going to get back in there so you see what that looks like. Now what this is it's a movable chord. So that form, if you wanted to take it up 2 frets, you're going to use your finger as a bar, and it's going to be like that. Okay, same form, so you can actually play them with the last 3 fingers. I'm going to teach you how to, a lot of chords to play the last 3 fingers as opposed to like an E chord. You know, you can play an E like this, play correctly, but I'm going to teach you to play it with your last 3 fingers because it's a movable position. And if you want a G chord, which is this note here, you just bar it. So your E chord, I'm going to tune up while I'm at it. Moves up like that. This, for a lot of people, is really hard, making a bar chord like that. But you're going to have to do it, so deal with it, you know. So anyway, all these movable chords. So I'm going to give you all the chords, the key of C, and then I'm going to give you some open chords along with that, like the E chord and the A chords. So first one is C. And if you want to pick it like that, what I'm doing is I hold my pick like this, and then I use my other 3 fingers. And I get into 4-note chords, and that's something I learned. Learn 4-note chords. You know, you can learn big fat ones, but 4 is really cool because you can finger pick them using your pick like this, and then these other 3. So if you can check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back and like, see how that works? I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I do that again with the C root, and I hit the top. So that's your finger picking. In the key of C, then you got a D minor, which is here, and it's also here. And this is the movable chord from your A minor position, which I'm going to teach you in a minute. Your A minor is going to look like this, but you move it up and bar it, and that's it. See? So anyway, you have your C, your D minor, or this position. You have your E minor, and these are all in chord books. You know, you're going to need to buy a chord book. So it's going to look like that. I'll come back like that so you can see it. There we go. Just 2 notes here. Okay, then your F. This is kind of a hard one because you have to bar 2 notes here, and then the next 2, it just goes like that. The triad actually looks like this, but you're gonna, with this finger, you're gonna bar these 2. Now, if you're really brave, you're gonna bar the whole thing like this. It's really hard for a beginner. And remember this E chord I taught you? Move that up a half step and bar it. That's your big F version. Try to get this thing in tune while I'm at it. Nothing worse than playing out of tune. And this also moves, it's movable, it goes up to a G. And here's another G. Actually, you can either play it like this, or if you mute, and you get in muting, you can play it like this with 2 fingers, but you have to mute the A string. Play it like that. Remember your A minor I taught you? The last 3 fingers? So what this is that position, if you move it up 1 string, up towards me, if you look at it that way. That's your E position. If you move that down 1 string, it's your A minor. So your A minor, totally movable form. Your E minor, totally movable. So, C, D minor, 2 chord, E minor, which is also up here, F, your 4 chord, G, your 5 chord, and it's actually, if you drop your pinky, it turns into G7, which it's supposed to, and then your A minor, and then here's your B minor 7 flat 5, which has a lot of cool uses. And back to your C. So you also need to learn your E chord. You got your A. Here's your A chord. I don't know if you can see this, but it transfers into like your C chord. So if you have a C, this is like a C here. Go back down and play it with your last 3 fingers. It's an A. We play it in rock like that. Whenever I play my chord, if I'm playing a rock, and I'll show you, this is the Peter Townsend rock chord. You know, you can jump around and irritate your neighbors and have people call the cops on you. That's all you do. You want to play your E power chord, same deal. It's 3 notes max. It's like your low, then a B. Here's your A. Now, if I want to play it like a country, not country, but more of a folk thing, or kind of like this, I'll play it with my last 3 fingers. It has kind of a cool sound. It gets nice and open, but when you're playing a rock, it's just, you know, just those 3. And then there's your D chord, dog. And I think you remember that we played this and then moved it up. Okay, when you play this, it's your D chord, but you can also play it like this. I play that nightly. You know, that chord works all over. I'll show you exactly where I play it in the show. A song called Tequila. YouTube that if you've never heard it before. The trivia is Glenn Campbell played the guitar on Tequila. And I just use this form, and I go from an F to an E flat. Tequila. Okay, so you have these movable forms that I've taught you. The C moves up to that. The A, the E moves up. The A minor moves up. Now there's another interesting thing that happened. The E minor, by the way, moves up also. But when you get in these chord positions, there's a number of things that you can do while you're there. So like if you play like a G chord, you can also, if you drop your pinky, you get a G7. If you drop this, your middle finger, you get G minor. If you go back here, you can, well, you get a G6 by taking your pinky from here and going down to the B string. You get a G6. You can also put it here, go back, and you get a G7 sus. You know, there's all kinds of cool stuff here. G major 7th, so you can slide this thing down and then put this over. So you have a G, you slide them down. Oops, what am I doing? I know there's G major 7th around here somewhere. Anyway, there it is. That would be in your A minor, sliding it up and then putting it over there. So anyway, that's available to you. There's all kinds of things, like especially like if you're playing a D minor 7th, just drop your pinky. There's a G minor 7th. You can get a D major 7th. So you got a D minor. If I said G minor, I was wrong. This is D minor. You got a D minor 7th, or D major 7th. Drop your pinky. D major 9. All kinds of cool stuff all over here. You can actually turn your D minor into a D minor 7, put the C on top. So these are all possibilities, and I'll explain all the chords that I do within all these things. There are, I'm going to play a song that I play in the show, and it's called Lonesome Tonight. It's by Elvis. And it's a little picking thing, but it's kind of breaks the rules a little bit. It uses a lot of dominant 7ths where we would be, goes out, it's in the key of C, but like the 2 chord he uses a dominant 7, so it turns into major chord with a flat 7. It does it on the 1 chord, does it on the 3 chord, it does it on the 2 chord. It turns the 2 chord from minor to major. So this is breaking the rules. Anyway, it goes something like this. E minor, then to your A minor, then it goes to a C, and then it goes to a C7. So here's your position. You just put your pinky over here, and off we go to the F, and that's the position I taught you before. Then we're going to go up to a G, but I'm going to play the bass line along with the bass player. So you can do this in this position, which is kind of cool. Then I'm going to play a G7, back to C. Now we're going to go to the 1 chord. It's going to turn into C7. Now we're going to an F. Now we're going to go to a 2, which is, you've seen this form before. You saw the C7 here. Okay, now it's going to move up 2 frets. So you got a 2, flat 7. Then it's going to go to a D minor, which is your regular 2 chord, to a G7. Now it's going to go to a 3-7, this form here. I got to find out where I'm in song. It's going back to the 2 minor, and this is a 2-5 progression that we'll talk about later. So that's like most of the chords in the key of C, and breaking the rules and going to a couple other things. It also teaches you how to do this picking thing, which is very, very simple. You go down on the A string, but it's the C note on this A string, and you kind of hit it twice, and then you go, and then squeeze these 3. Remember the 4-note chord concept? Very simple. It works. You want to see some serious picking? Go to this guy Jerry Lopez, a friend of mine and band leader in Las Vegas. He's got an incredible band, Santa Fe. But if you go to Jerry Lopez Flamingo, that's what I'm talking about. It makes you want to lay off for a month and then quit. It's, really serious stuff. So there's about the dominant chord, the 5 chord in any key can be altered. And what you can alter is you can alter the 9th and alter the 5th. And you need chord books that will tell you that. So like if you're looking through a chord book, you need a chord book that says G7 with a plus on it, or a +5, or G7 with a flatted 5th, or G13 flat 9, on and on. The 9th can be flatted, the 9th can be sharped. Here's a thing that Stevie Ray and Hendrix and everybody did. It's a E7 raised 9th, and you get this clash because you have a flatted. Well, no, it is a raised 9th, and it's clashing with the 3rd. They're half a step apart, but this is a standard thing you'll see with those guys. Okay, so that's a raised 9th. Back to the G. If it was a raised 9th, you'd stick this top note on. But they also have like a 13 flat 9. Remember this D chord position is kind of like a D chord over a G. It's very cool sounding. Let's see if I can get a better tone for that. Like if you're going to a C chord in a jazz song. Kind of cool, huh? There's a flatted 9 on top. You can have a G7 with a flatted 5th, like that. So all you're doing is dropping one note. So there's all kinds of alterations you can do, and you just kind of learn them. I was in a class, I didn't know what was going on, and they said, well, should I use a 13 flat 9 or something? And this guy next to me is Jay Graydon, who would be, major guitar player, arranger, wrote songs of George Benson's. Guys sitting in my class, and I didn't know what they were talking about. And the teacher instructed me to get this thing called Russell Garcia Arranging Book. And I did, and I studied it. And they started talking about songs where you don't even need, all you need is a third to tell you where you're at. The third and the seventh, you don't need the root or the fifth, and you start arranging for a big band like that. It's really cool. But that's where I learned about the flatted ninth, the raised ninth, the flatted fifth, the raised fifth. And so I experimented on all these things. I checked out Lee Ritenour once. He was at this club called the Baked Potato, YouTube Lee Ritenour, and they have a bunch of stuff playing the Baked Potato, but he did this really cool thing. I saw him playing an A. Then he played a thing called an A11, which all this is a G triad with an A on the bass, which I've seen all the time. I knew what that was. And then it's like a ballad, and he took these three notes and just moved them down and kept the other ones there. And I went, wow. I left the building, ladies and gentlemen. I went home and picked up my guitar and said, what did he just do? How cool is that? A11 to whatever this thing is, I think 13 flat 9 to a D major 7th. So you can do all these alterations on it. That's the chord book that you get. I've seen them where they have the pictures of all the chords, and they're, it's like $26. It's worth every penny. If you're going to be in the music business, if you're serious about playing guitar,